So I'm going to read a little section from my book, Say Godspeed Angel. This is kind of the prequel part, and the only thing you need to know, the main character, his name is Michael. He just got offered a deal to...
Turn off the mic!
Sorry. I used to teach, so I should just be able to yell at everyone to the back of the class. But then no one would listen to me, so... Boom. Just a little public education humor.
Are we good?
Is that better? All right, cool. So the main character, Mike, just got an offer to go into dealing. He's not really too stoked about it, but Julian is his dealer, and Eric is his friend who deals, and Mason is the girl who he's been pining after. And they're in Julian's house. As we stood, Julian clapped my shoulder, then slipped a few bills into my shirt pocket and held the door open for us. Told me not to worry, that everything was going to be okay, and that he believed in me. I did not skip on my way out of the office, and I considered that a small victory. Paul's the guy who he's always had beef with, which you'll see. Paul was the only one sitting in a chair. I gave Julian a small hug and left with Eric, and ignoring Paul as we passed. "Your wrist sore?" he said. "Excuse me? You know, from jerking him off?" He snapped his gum with his teeth. "Isn't that how you got the nod?" I was illustrating to him the proper method for anal sex enacted on Mason in order to ensure your rectal comfort forthwith henceforth. "The fuck you say?" He stood close enough that I could feel his breath. "Do you understand the concept of interrogative pronouns?" I said. "What? There you go." Eric nudged my arm. "Paul," Julian called. "Get the fuck in here." He stared at me for a few blinks and then turned towards Julian's office. "Kind of tampons you use," I said to him. Paul turned, ready to jump as soon as I said go. "See, I can use abbreviated English too." "You act so damn smart, but you ain't nothing but a show." I said, "Get your ass in here, Paul," Julian said, now standing by the door. My fingertips tingling, I nodded at him. "He's calling to you." "If you didn't have those special college art words make you seem like something special, everyone knows you're just a scared little twat." I glanced behind me, but Eric was the only one listening. Julian yanked Paul by the elbow into his office and then slammed the door. Their voices were loud, but made unintelligible by the thick door. I took long, measured breaths. "You're a dickhead," Eric said, "and he's a cocksucker." I took the last drag of my cigarette and then dropped the butt into the half-full Bud Light can sitting on the floor, then stuck my hands into my pockets so Eric wouldn't see them tremble. Paul had lost his virginity to a snowblind Mason at some party she vaguely remembers. He was naive enough that he meant something. And a few nights later, at another party, the mouth breather hung on her. He's trying to find purchase in her heart with all the rest of us. He'd been trying to make some philosophical point about Depeche Mode and personal Jesus when he pronounced Psalm with all the letters. Mason and her girlfriend laughed, and I asked if he meant possum, the holy rodent, instead. And ever since, Paul has wanted to go Captain Kurtz on me. Really, the guy can't move without reading his lips, or without moving his lips. So expecting to end up with a girl like Mason must have been his own special personal hell. But fuck him anyway. He's an asshole, but one day he's going to get raging and he's going to break your jaw. I stopped Eric in the middle of the hallway, all serious. The electro music downstairs had turned into NWA, like God was smiling on me. Make him think I'm going to blast his ass. When he drops his cat, Mike's going to blast. "The holy hell are you talking about?" Eric said. I pointed downstairs. "Dude, NWA." "What? MC Ren from NWA, the band who is playing downstairs right now?" He shook his head and started down the steps. "You really need to get out more." Downstairs, the change in music hadn't done much to alter the scene in the living room. A group of girls kneeled around the glass table in the middle of the room, their mouths moving so fast they appeared slow. A dollar bill went from hand to nose to different hand to different nose. Eric handed me a glass of something. "Or would you rather have a 40 of OE Gangsta Gangsta?" "You're so white, Eric." "Yeah, so are you. We're in Massachusetts." We stood like wildlife at the watering hole, surveying the room. I wasn't sure who were the lions and who were the sick antelope. Someone pushed the buttons on the stereo, swapping out Compton's Finest for Portishead record. I'd been into the song, but had to admit that Dummy fit the scene much better. "Michael, this position is about more to business than him." Eric sipped his drink and smiled at some girl kneeling by the table. "You're an idiot if you don't jump on this." "I'm kind of a little more Cézanne than Little Caesar." Eric had no reaction. because Cézanne's a French post-impressionist painting and Little Caesar is the inspiration for Scarface. I tasted my drink, and it was rum and Coke, but I could barely taste the Coke. Look, just don't be cute. Just think about it. I finished my glass without taking a breath, and the room turned blurry for a couple blinks. When it cleared, Eric was waving at the girl he'd been looking at earlier, now lounging in a love seat beside the fireplace, and absent-mindedly playing with her hair, the neckline of her shirt slipping so far down that, even from across the room, I could still see the lace pattern of her bra. Look, man, I got something to take care of, he said. He sharpened the crease of his collar and then patted my back and went to her. I poured more rum into my glass and then splashed in some soda and sat at the end of the couch, far enough from the girls to avoid being assaulted by their wild gesticulations or inane banter. Eric and the girl disappeared upstairs, and I sipped at my glass and felt the alcohol's bite begin to diminish. The flames in the fireplace licked at the air, smoke twisted from the tips of the fire, and I wondered about sticking my hand in there, if it would burn to nothing before I could pull it out. Thanks.